This is the story of an AI robot who falls in love with a girl. To what extent does he go to get the girl's love? Let's find out in today's video. The story begins with a couple who had a wife named Abby. These two have shifted to the new house given by Abby's company. Both were very happy to come here because this house was very grand and they like it very much. The next day, Abby goes to her company for a job. She used to work in a robotic company. Here, Abby's boss tells her that you and your husband are invited to the party in the evening, so be sure to come. When the two went to the party in the evening, they saw that all the servants working in the boss's house were AI robots. And they look exactly like humans and do all the work like humans. That is, their behavior was like humans in every way. No one could have said that they were robots by looking at them. Everyone enjoys the party a lot. Abby's boss praises her work a lot. And being happy with the work, he also gives her an AI robot, which was in a very big box. As soon as both husband and wife come home and open the box, an AI robot named Tim comes out of it. As soon as Abby's husband touches it, the robot turns on and it is fully activated to work. After that, he helps Abby with all the housework. Moreover, he used to take great care of her likes and dislikes. But Abby's husband didn't like this thing, about which he also tells Abby, on which she says that you are thinking too much about Tim. He is just a machine. Talking about Tim, he also takes the password of her social media and every device so that he can help them manage the rest of their life. Now Abby's neighbor came to meet her, who is Abby's friend. She also gives her some gifts and her phone number so that if Abby needs anything, she can call her. Now Abby was in her office, so her boss gives her a damaged robotic hand, in which there was a technical problem, which Abby had to fix. In the evening, when Abby came back, she saw her husband with her neighbor, which made her feel very bad. So after her friend's departure, she asks her husband why she came. Her husband replies that she just came to give me flowers to plant in the garden. And it's not what you think. We noticed that Tim started liking Abby, and the way the boys she like, I look wise like clothes, hair, etc. Then he comes in front of Abby in the same way. Seeing this, Abby is completely surprised, and she asks him the reason why you made your look like this. Why did you change your appearance? Then Tim tells her that I have done this for your happiness. Seeing this, Abby's husband felt very bad. Both of them get angry, because of which Abby tells Tim to change his looks like before. In the office, Abby's boss sees that damaged hand, which had a technical problem. The hand was working fine now because Abby had fixed it. Seeing this, Abby's boss becomes very happy. The next day, Abby's husband says that we should return Tim to the company. But we see that Tim, who had hacked their phone, he hears everything through the phone, because of which he gets very angry with Abby's husband. Tim was massaging Abby's legs. But then Abby's husband came there, who feels very bad to see this, and he quietly leaves from there because he was upset with Abby. The next day, when Abby returns home from work, Tim starts to instigate her, that there is an affair between your husband and your friend. Hearing this, Abby got into his talks, and she was very sad to know this, that how can my husband cheat me? And that's why the distance between the two starts to increase. Abby's husband was looking for an office. Then Tim tells him that until you don't get an office, I can make an office for you at home, for which he agrees. But when Abby found out this, that my husband is making an office at home, she felt very bad, because she didn't want to spoil the condition of the house. For this, she argues with her husband, to which she replied that all this is Tim's doing. But Abby doesn't believe him. Abby's husband checks the recording of the camera at home, in which he saw that Tim was touching Abby's clothes strangely. Abby's husband found this very strange, and he makes a video of it. Then he sits in the car and leaves to tell Abby about it. Now the car in which he was sitting, that too was a high-tech automatic car given by the company, whose speed suddenly increases. Seeing this, Abby's husband got very scared, and he himself tries to control the car manually, but he fails in this, because of which his car has a very bad accident. Hearing the news of the accident, Abby immediately went to the hospital and asked her husband the reason for the accident, that how did such a big accident happen? Her husband first tells her to switch off her phone so that Tim doesn't listen to them, because he also found out that Tim has hacked our phones. Then he tells her that Tim hacked the car and completely took it under his control, and he got me into an accident. But Abby doesn't believe him and tells him to rest. After meeting her husband, when Abby was coming home, she met her friend, who tries to tell her something, but then Abby's eyes went to her neck. She was wearing the same necklace as Abby had, which her husband had given her. Seeing this, Abby goes crazy. To know the truth, she immediately left from there. She comes to her room and tries to find the necklace everywhere, but she doesn't find it anywhere, which makes her very sad, because she understood that it is my necklace, which my husband gave her. But then Tim also comes here. He asks Abby, "Why are you sad?" Then Abby tells him, "I think my husband is cheating on me." Tim says, "You are right. He is cheating on you, and I think I am more loyal to you than him." Saying this, he shows Abby her husband's video, in which Abby's husband and her friend were very close to each other. Seeing this, Abby breaks completely and decides to separate from her husband forever. From the hospital, her husband calls Abby again and again so that he can make her understand and clear the misunderstanding. But Abby doesn't answer his call. That's why he comes home, so that he can talk to Abby. But then Tim shows him the same video. After watching the video, Abby's husband tries to make her understand that this is all Tim's trick, because he wants to separate you from me. But Abby doesn't listen to him, says the video can't lie. "I have seen this." Saying this, she tells him to leave the house. On the way, Abby's husband calls Abby's friend and tells her everything and asks her to take care of Abby. On this, Abby's friend says, "I can't go to your house, because once when I went to meet Abby, Tim tried to force me." Hearing this, her husband calls Abby immediately, and after telling her everything, tries to make her understand that whatever is happening between us, Tim is behind it. But we see that Tim picked up the phone, who was talking to her husband by making Abby's voice, so that her husband also felt that this is Abby. And then Tim tells her come home. As soon as her husband came home, Tim comes from behind and attacks him, causing Abby's husband to faint. Tim ties him hands and feet and puts him in the bathtub. Then the doorbell rang when Tim went to check. Abby's friend was there who asked her about Abby. Then Tim lies that they had gone out and closes the door on her face. After this, she came back to the washroom, where Abby's husband had woken up. Tim starts drowning in the bathtub, causing him to suffocate. And like this, Abby's husband dies. In the evening, when Abby came home, she starts remembering her husband's picture. Then Tim comes here. He brings Abby a new dress and gives her to wear, saying that this is a gift from me. Now, when Abby comes in front of him wearing that suit, Tim keeps looking at her and comes to her and takes care of her. In a way, he tries to calm her down. The next day, when Abby was coming home, she met her friend, who tries to tell Abby something, but she doesn't listen to her. After coming home, Abby keeps watching that video again and again. When she notices it, she comes to know something, which blows her mind. She calls the necklace shop, and she comes to know that that necklace was not bought by her husband, but was bought by Tim. After knowing this, she starts thinking about it. What is going on? That's when she sees a garden. She was surprised that there were more flowers there, about which she didn't know. That's why she makes an excuse and sends Tim out of the house, and goes to check the garden. After coming to the garden, she sees that her husband's shirt is buried in the soil. After removing the soil, as soon as she tries to take out the shirt, she sees that her husband's dead body is here. After seeing this, she becomes shocked. She was very scared. That's when Tim comes behind her. Abby asks him in fear, "What did you do? Why did you do this?" Tim says, "For you and for me, because I love you very much, and I want to see you happy." Hearing this, Abby was very scared. She ran inside quickly. She tries to call the police, but that's when Tim comes. He attacks Abby and makes her faint at her with a phone. When Abby regains consciousness, she finds herself in her room, where there were candles all around her, but there was no Tim here. That's why Abby tries to run away. She breaks all the cameras and hides in the bathroom, but that's when Tim comes here. He finds out where Abby is hiding, so he comes in and catches her and ties her with a chair again. To kill Abby, he gives her a lot of sleeping pills. That's when Abby's friend comes to the door again. She asks him about Abby, but Tim scares her and runs away from there. Abby vomits all her sleeping pills because she didn't swallow it, and by getting herself released, she tries to run away from there. But that's when Tim comes in front of her. He catches Abby again and tries to kill her by strangling her. That's when Abby's friend takes the car and enters Abby's house, and she stabs a wooden stick in Tim's chest. And then she faints there. But Tim, who was perfectly fine, kills the fainted Abby's friend. Then he calls the police station in Abby's voice and tells them that I have killed my husband and my friend because they both were cheating on me. And now I don't want to live in this meaningless world. And I've started to kill myself. After which Tim, to kill Abby, starts to go towards her. Then Abby, to stop her, says shut down. But it doesn't stop because he had changed his shutdown password. Then he was holding Abby by the neck and was about to throw her off the roof. He calls Abby for the last time. I love you. Then Abby also says I love you too, that I also love you, which makes Tim shut down. Actually, Tim thought that Abby will never say I love you to me. That's why he changed his code and put I love you, because he never wanted to shut down. But now he stopped as soon as she said that. And now they both start to fall off the roof. But fortunately, Abby was saved from falling, because she had already caught the wall. She came up while Tim falls down and gets completely destroyed. Abby is saddened by remembering her husband, that I didn't believe him and believed the words of the robot, which ruined our life. And from now on, she decides never to keep the robot. And with this scene, the story also ends here.